Hey there, entrepreneurs. My name is Sushant, and welcome to TrepTalks. This is the show where I interview successful e-commerce entrepreneurs, business executives, and thought leaders, and ask them questions about their business story, and also dive deep into some of the strategies and tactics that they have used to start and grow their businesses. And today I'm really excited to welcome Peter Thorpe to the show. Peter is a firefighter and the founder of FireAvert. FireAvert sells products that prevent fires. FireAvert technology syncs to the sound of smoke detector and will automatically cut power to the stove and range if the smoke alarm goes off. And today I'm going to ask Peter a few questions about his entrepreneurial journey and some of the strategies and tactics that he has used to start and grow his business. So thank you, Peter, so much for joining me today at Trip Talk. Really appreciate your time and opportunity.
Yeah, excited to be here. And it's always fun to talk with people and other entrepreneurs and kind of network. So thank you for this opportunity.
Definitely. So you are a firefighter, or at least you used to be. I don't know if you're still practicing firefighter. And I believe I read somewhere that you said, you know, if you want to be an entrepreneur, being a firefighter is a really great profession. So I am very curious to know, can you share a little bit about your kind of, backstory and how you transitioned from being a firefighter to becoming this entrepreneur?
Yeah, it's kind of fun story. So just like, a lot of boys, they wanted to grow up and run the fire truck and be a firefighter. That was my childhood passion. So I did it. Did it for 16 years. I just retired last June, actually. But early on in my career, I realized that every single shift we'd go on a kitchen fire. As a firefighter, we became really good at just your typical, just room and context, but it's on a kitchen stove there. And so the idea, that's how we kind of came up with the idea with, hey, every shift we're going on these kitchen fires, if only there was a way that we could turn down or turn off the stove, there wouldn't be a fire. So started the business 11 years ago. And then just last year, the business was to a point where I had to let go of my passion, and entrepreneurs became my passion now, but let go of that childhood dream and do the fire full time.
I mean, I think you're still in the firefighting business. I mean, you're just fighting it as an entrepreneur rather than, being in the, being there fighting it yourself. And I was actually really surprised to hear that the most common fires are, if people kind of forget turning off their stoves. Can you talk a little bit more about that? And how does actually that fire start? And how is your product kind of helping solve that situation?
Unique or different? Sure, yeah. So kind of how our product, why it's kind of different is, and how kitchen fire is the number one cause. So every 4.5 minutes, a fire department responds to a kitchen fire. It's the number one cause of home fires out there. Nothing even comes close to it. It's the number one cause. It's the most, kitchen fires are the number one cause of injuries, deaths, property damage. So it is a big problem out there. Think about it, every 4.5 minutes. And what's crazy is for every one that gets reported to a fire department, 50 go unreported. So, people start to cook, like busy moms or students or elderly, or even you and me, or kids starting to cook. And they start to, like my kids, like that's a perfect example. We start with my kids. They start to cook. They're excited. They're learning how to cook. And then they cook it on while they're waiting for it to cook. They start watching TV and they forget about it. And now we have a small fire. Or my mother-in-law fell asleep. She, while she's cooking mac and cheese, she falls asleep. So in all these situations, the smoke alarm goes off first. Smoke perceives fire, and that smoke alarm is beeping, and that's what alerts the homeowner. But in most of these situations, the homeowner has left the home. They left their home with their stove on. So smoke alarm is sounding, but no one's there. And so that's why our product is so unique, is we built a small box that goes in behind your stove. And in the event that your smoke alarm is sounding, there's no fire yet, the smoke alarm is beeping, our device, FireAvert, will hear the smoke alarm. It hears the smoke alarm and says the smoke alarm is sounding, the stove is on, it waits about 30 seconds. If no one turns the stove off, we cut power to the stove before there's a fire. We eliminate the heat source, no fire, no smoke damage. And that's just the magic right there. And the homeowner comes home and their stove's turned off for them and no fire.
That's so interesting. So it's really the hazard of someone not being in the home when somebody forgot turn off the stove, and then they went away and they could not respond to the fire alarm. Does it happen like in buildings or homes, especially in buildings? I believe you sell mostly into buildings, where if the fire smoke alarm is going on, then the sprinkler system would come on or something like that. Like if there's a fire or something.
Oh, yeah. So you're correct. We do sell to, when you say building, we sell to multifamily housing, so apartment complexes. That's mainly who we sell to. We sell, I think we're around about 8,000 every month that we deploy into multifamily across the country, across North America. But sprinklers, so how those work, they're not activated by smoke or smoke alarms. Sprinklers are activated by heat. And so a sprinkler activates after a fire starts usually, because enough heat has to be built up, and on the sprinkler's a small little bubble, and once the liquid in there expands, it pops the glass ball, and then the water comes out. So a fire alarm does not trigger sprinklers.
Okay. And before you came up with this product, I'm assuming this, was this a completely new idea, or were there other products that were
out there,
out there on the same idea, or that were solving the same problem but in a different way? Can you share, like, what is the innovation in this product?
Great question. So yeah, we are unique, and we were able to get several different patents on our products. So before FireAvert, everyone was trying to stop this problem by suppression, and suppression is different. We are a prevention company. Suppression, there was companies out there putting little canisters that would drop powder on it once a fire started. There's companies out there that are regulating the heat stove so stoves don't get hot enough. There was motion detectors saying, hey, if you leave your stove for so long, we're going to shut off. We are unique because we are the only company that removes the heat source, that turns off the stove when the smoke alarm sounds. And again, smoke precedes fire. Everything has a smoking temperature and then ignition temperature. And so if we remove the heat source when it's still smoking, then there's not going to be a fire. So there's a lot of products out there that suppress it. But in my experience from being a firefighter for 16 years, if we suppression is always much more expensive. And if we wait for a fire to start, there's already a lot of smoke damage on your walls, your ceiling, and the time it suppresses it, you might already have a couple $1,000s of damage. Where when we prevent it, there's no damage, there's no cost to repair anything.
And is there some way for you to be able to measure how many fires this device has averted or prevented? Is this device connected to the internet? Is this part of like the Internet of Things kind of technology?
Yeah,
where it can do other things as well?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we've been in business for 11 years, and that was something we always wanted to capitalize on and to know is the data behind our product. How often are we shutting off the stove? How many fires are we preventing? So we had basic ideas because customers would call us or send us emails saying, hey, you prevented a fire for us. And we get a lot of feedback. We knew we were doing a pretty good job with it. But last year, just a little over a year ago, we put radio modules in all of our devices, and we put them on the Internet of Things, as you mentioned. We put them on the cloud. And so now we're tracking real time, real data. And it's amazing how many stoves we're shutting off, how many fires we're preventing. So now we have the data for insurance companies, for just the ROI for people that own these big apartment complexes. We can show them, hey, here's how often this is happening. We're stopping it. But also, we're going a step further. Like now the maintenance team is on site there, or the homeowners there, and we're sending real-time text notifications saying, hey, your smoke alarm is sounding. Go to your apartment, go check it out. And maybe it had nothing to do with the stove. Maybe it was a dryer, maybe it was candles, and the smoke alarms are sounding. And now we're sending notifications. So we're kind of coming in a whole just automation company for the home there, of keeping everyone safe and sending notifications out.
Can you share a little bit about, when you initially got this idea, or you recognized that there is this opportunity, or there is this gap in the safety, household safety around fire? How did you go from that idea to thinking that there could be a business behind this? Was there a kind of a business plan that you created, like that there's so many houses, and right now this problem is not being solved, and so did you put some numbers, and how did you go? Like, what were some of the first steps going from idea to actually having a product and then having a business?
Yeah. For us, for me, it was never about the money. Money never crossed my mind for a very long time. It was an idea of like, hey, that would be pretty cool. That would probably work. Let's build this. And so we kind of got some people together that had engineering backgrounds that were smarter than me, and we kind of tinkered around with it and we built it and it worked. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then we just started showing it to like, I was in the fire as a firefighter anyways, and so we started showing to fire marshals. And we went kind of all over the state of Utah and showing people in the industry, and we got huge support. Like they really wanted us to see this come into market. So and then I had to figure out, okay, well then how do we get money to do this? And it was all the business plan competitions. We did get a business plan put together, and there's so many competitions at all the universities. I think we won like $100,000 really really quick, and that was neat and that was fun and exciting. But it was never about, hey, we can make a lot of money from this. Let's do it. It was more, hey, this is a cool idea. It's gonna work. So, but we got our first money just from business plan competitions, and then we got our first product here, and we just started selling it to people who wanted it.
And from the technology perspective, what was it like creating like the initial prototype? And I believe you partnered with an engineer. Are you the sole founder? Do you have like other co-founders as well who's supporting you kind of from the technology side?
Yeah, I had a co-founder that was an engineer from the very beginning, from day one. He stayed with the company for a few years, and then he moved on to other projects that he wanted to work on. And so how the process started, we just prototyped kind of just with off-the-shelf items, just breadboard circuit boards, and just built the concept out and made sure it worked. And then we kind of got burned working with some bigger companies and having them prototype it. They were much too expensive. And then we found factories and other entrepreneurs that wanted to partner with us for long term and have our business. So they prototyped it basically for free for us. And we tooled up overseas. And within the time we had the idea we probably did like 3 different prototypes. And within a year, we had a product here from manufacturing ready to sell.
And you mentioned that of course you have multiple patents on this product, so you're kind of protecting yourself from being copied. I mean, these kind of products, I'm assuming, can be copied relatively easy in a Chinese market or some of the other markets. What are the patents? Can you share a little bit about the patents and what exactly is the innovation that's
Yeah.
been.
So in our patents, we have, probably like 30 different claims. So I think we have maybe around 3 to 5 patents now, and we're always applying for new patents. But they're all public records. If someone wanted to go see them, they could go. You can go look up any patents public. But I don't think it's easy to copy. I think you're wrong on that. That this is an easy thing to copy, because China copies easy things that they can just quickly do in a circuit board. But we keep our firmware, the magic behind making the product work. Our firmware is very tied up and encrypted very highly. We spend a lot of money securing our firmware, so anyone can make our plastics and make the device. Without our firmware, it's useless. But no one has tried to copy it, because it's a niche market. It's harder to sell, and we have relationships. And yeah, I'd love for someone to try to copy it, or to even do copy, because they're going to help in sharing the marketing workload and educating people on it. And we're going to have a better product at the end of the day. So they'll just help just market for us.
Definitely. How so you were a firefighter. Of course, you didn't have an electronics background or business background or all this uh, different kind of things that you had to do to bring this product to market. What has been the journey like for you, transitioning from like being a firefighter and running a substantial business? What kind of learnings have you had to go through, and was it easy? Was it difficult? What is the verdict 10 years then for you?
Yeah, sure, it's difficult, right? Like it's for me, because I didn't go to school for accounting or engineering or any of these things. I've had to just learn it through trial and error. Um, but it's been very rewarding. It's a lot of fun to come across a problem and fix it. And I think that's what firefighters do day in and day out. We're given a problem, and it's fix it now, and and we do that. And so I think that's helped, just knowing that, hey, and I've learned over 10 years of doing 11 years of doing this now, is that whatever problem comes first, like first few years, you can't get your patent. There's already things out there, and overcoming that, and just financing it and costs and selling it, and every problem that comes, I've now just learned like there's not a problem that we can't overcome. Like we'll figure it out. And I think maybe is different between me and other entrepreneurs, is that I have that grit that I don't care what the problem is, we're going to figure it out and we're going to move fast and do it. And sure, we have made plenty of mistakes and wasted a lot of time and money, but we move fast and we recover, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, just as much fun as being a firefighter, I'd say, because you're building something and overcoming problems.
Do you think that a big part of your success, or a big part of the reason that you've been able to bring this product to market, is really, as an entrepreneur, a big part of your role was partnering with the right people? So at the beginning, you partner with the right engineer, or an engineer who can actually create the prototype, eventually partnering with the right supply chain people, manufacturers who can actually create the product. Do you think that as an entrepreneur, a big part of what you do is really bringing the right people to come on the journey with you? And if yes, how do you persuade them? Is that more of, sharing equity? Is it more about inspiring with your vision? Or is it something else that you would attribute,
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of all that. It's selling your story, right? Like everything we do, from getting manufacturers and other people or good other employees to come, it's selling our story, it's our vision. And when we first started, yeah, there was a part of, hey, we can't pay you what you're worth. We're going to share some equity with you. Those days are long gone. Now we can afford to hire the people we need. But it's definitely having the right partners out there. Our supply chain partners, and we have 2 different supply chains on different sides of the world, and those partnerships are very valuable. And they take a risk when they work with us, right? They put up a lot of time and money to get everything set up over there. So we're always selling our story, our vision to them, getting them excited about it. And I think it's just also, it makes sense. The product makes sense. People think about it and they hear about the idea, like, oh yeah, this stove should turn itself off. Like, that's powerful, and they believe in it. They believe in us.
In terms of the target market, this is, I believe, I read somewhere, 95% B2B versus, your e-commerce business. Initially, when you had started, like, did you think that this is going to be more of a mass consumer product where people would go and purchase it for their home and easily be able to install it? And for you as a business, I'm assuming it's much easier to show the value proposition to, apartment buildings and so forth, and then you get like of course, a big number of products that you can install in a building rather than going to a single home. Can you talk a little bit about how you came to this target market, and what is the sales process like?
Sure. So yeah, we do sell 95% of all of our business is, or even more than that, maybe, to multifamily, just B2B. I would love to sell more to all the residential homes, but we don't put a whole lot of time and money at that. The e-commerce world, there's a lot of upfront, ad spend and all that information, marketing material, and in these multifamily, it just kind of happened naturally. They just kind of came to us, or we got introduced to these apartment complexes. And like you and me, you maybe never have had a kitchen fire, but these multifamily owners, when they own 10 to 50 or 80,000 apartments across the country, they have a kitchen fire every week or every month. They understand the pain. So when we come there, they have a huge headache. They have teams that go from renovation to renovation, from fire to fire. And so if we can eliminate that pain for them, then we win their business for life. So it's been a natural fit to work with them. That's all your questions that are part of it.
Yeah. So do you think that it's kind of a barrier to to educate the individual customer, because that's going to require a lot more upfront investment in terms of the education aspect of it, and also like the advertising? But do you think that there may be a bigger market also that you would want to come back to at a later time?
Yeah, it's definitely, well, your first question. Yes, I think it is a barrier there with just having to educate each person, for the one-off orders. But it is a bigger opportunity because they're paying a higher price. They're not getting wholesale price, not getting bulk pricing for buying, 5 or 10 or 20,000 units at one time. But I think eventually we want to crack that and go after it. Right now, we sell them as fast as we can make them. Like I said, we're moving around 8,000 plus every month. So, but eventually, yeah, the e-commerce side of it, we want to tackle and have sell into that industry as well.
And I believe you had an appearance on Shark Tank as well. I haven't seen that episode. I read about it, and I don't know what the outcome was but was that kind of an attempt to crack the consumer market? Because some of these entrepreneurs have a bigger reach and bigger teams that can probably help with that. And what was the outcome of that? And did you decide or not decide to pursue that?
Yeah, Shark Tank was a great experience. It definitely propelled the company forward tremendously. We did a deal on the show with Lori Grenier, and that was a cool opportunity experience. I don't think it was our intention to go on the show to break or get into the e-commerce world. It mainly was just for exposure, right? And it was an opportunity. Like everyone wants to go on Shark Tank. I don't know if we had like, hey, our purpose of going here is to do this. It was just, hey, it's a good opportunity. Let's do it. And we definitely did see a huge spike in online sales and even our B2B customer sales. And it continues. It's a gift that keeps on giving. Each time it re-airs, and it's been 7 years, I think. And each time it re-airs, we see a spike in sales. And it's basically just free publicity, educating people about our product.
Very interesting. Do you, what kind of support are you getting from Lori right now? Like, is she more of like a general business consultant, or does she help you with like marketing or other areas as well?
So we did a deal on the show with her, but afterwards we didn't close on it. It wasn't in ours or her best interest, so we parted ways.
Okay. So your sales channel right now, it's really just you have a sales team that reaches out to or handles all the other different accounts and creates new deals. Can you share a little bit about your sales process and kind of what is the sales cycle, how long is the sales cycle, and so forth?
Yeah, we have a full sales team. We have a sales manager. He hires and runs the whole team. So the sales cycles can be long because a lot of these properties have a budget for it, and they got to get approval. There's a lot of red tape, a lot of decision makers. But the sales team goes to around like maybe 20 different trade shows a year, and so they're there. We have an awesome booth, and sometimes we've been at 3 different trade shows across the country all at the same time with different sales reps. So they meet the decision makers. We get all of our business cards. They come back. We put it in our CRM, and that's where the hard work comes in. Just all the emails following up. We do demo after demo. We have a built-in kitchen here with our stoves. We install it. We show the customer how it works. We reset it, answer their questions, and some sales will drop and close within the first maybe month or two. Some can take 6, 9, 12 months because you have to get in their cycle of budget, and there's other priorities they need. Maybe they need to put in a new roof, a new parking lot, and so they want to buy it, but the money has to be used for another project at the time.
Yeah, I guess in terms of showing them the ROI, it's really because it is kind of investment, right? It's kind of an upfront investment. Is it really that they have to spend less in insurance, or what is the downside of having fires for the property owner?
For having FireAverts?
No, so the owner, the building owner that you're selling it to, who's making the purchase? Are they getting the individual homeowners to buy? Are they charging the homeowners for these devices, or are they investing their own money and then and it becomes kind of a feature of what they're offering?
Yeah, so they are not charging the homeowners, the renters there. The owners of the apartment complex, the management companies are fronting the bill for that. And sometimes they get a break on their insurance, sometimes they don't. But their main thing is, hey, we want to provide the safest property for our tenants. They want to be good landlords. They want to provide a safe place to live, but also they're tired of the headache, right? They're tired of chasing these fires. When they have a fire, they're losing. It's an investment for them. They lose out on rent. It's just more cost and time to renovate and fix it and get construction crews there and dealing with the insurance. And then their insurance premiums go. So if we can keep their insurance just level and not have to chase these fires and the headache there, they're happy with it. So they're fronting the bill themselves. And a lot of our customers, they'll put it in one property, they test it for 3-6 months, they love it, they see the benefit, and then the next year, they put it in their entire portfolio.
Are you in the retail channel, or have you tried getting into a retail channel? I mean, that could be a big consumer.
Yeah, we're on a lot of bigbox.com sides of it. We have done retail with some big box stores, but they're always time consuming to work with. They're great if you have the manpower, but also if we go to the big box, we're going to sell it to them for, throwing out a number, we're going to sell to them for like maybe $70, and our multifamily customers are already buying it at top dollar. They're already, they're buying it more, they're paying more for it than a big box store would. So we're kind of cutting our margin out by having to be a middleman and selling to them. Selling direct, we're making more money right now.
Yeah, for sure. In terms of the installation of this product, it seems like this is really just a plug. You can take it and plug it in and install it relatively. It's like it doesn't require a complex installation process, is it? Or
no, it's pretty simple. It's all, our electrical one's all plug and play, no tools. The gas one does take, some pipe wrenches there to kind of just take off your gas line, put our product on. So it is pretty simple. Surprisingly, a lot of our customers in multifamily, they're so busy. They're chasing AC units, water leaks, roofs, all this other stuff. And so a lot of our customers prefer just to have us come and install it. And we take that workload off their plate. We come in with our professional teams. We install it. We give them another year of warranty on the device when we install it, but we can install it in just in a matter of a couple of days in a whole complex, versus it might take their team months because they're already busy with their own projects.
yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, because when you are installing it in mass, then I guess you can bring your own installation person and do that. In terms of the market, I'm assuming you're really just focusing on the US right now. And do you have any plans to have this product be used like in other countries like Canada or internationally?
Yeah, so we sell into North America, so Canada. We do sell regularly up into Canada, not a whole lot, but we do sell there. Our product only really works in certain countries where the prongs and if you travel outside the country, everything's a little different. Next year we will be launching into Europe, and so we've already started with a partnership over there and getting tooled up for our product to be compatible over in Europe.
What does your team look like right now?
Bunch of awesome guys, like just amazing people.
Like what department, how many people, so forth?
Yeah, we hover around like 20 employees right now. So we have a sales manager, his sales team, it's about 4 guys. Engineering has 2 people. We have 2 warehouse people, customer service, an accountant, and then we do all the installs. We have, I think, about 8 install technicians out in the field. So we have an install manager that manages 8 teams across the country installing these, and it's a lot of work. But so that's a quick rundown of the amazing team.
So the installation team probably has to travel quite a bit from one place to another to, if they have to install something in Florida versus now they have to go in North California. So are they constantly traveling? How does that work?
Yeah, so we have our own work vans that we give them, and we book all their housing through Airbnb and hotels, but they're on the road full time. And a lot of these guys will be in an area for months, right? They're not driving. Okay. We have so many jobs. Like we're booked out for the whole year on jobs. So they're they might drive 3 hours and they'll be in that area for maybe a few weeks, and then drive another few hours in that area for a few weeks. They'll have multiple complexes close to them. And most of our work right now, we have a team in California. Most of our teams are on the East Coast, though. One team's maybe close down to Texas, but most of them, I'd say, they're on the East Coast right now.
In terms of innovation, of course, you have a product that's working. Do you are you trying to continually improve or innovate on the same product or add additional features, or are you even thinking about adding different products that are kind of like home safety kind of products that this is fire safety, maybe that you have another product that
Sure.
it's electrical safety or something like that. What
Yeah, no, we're
how are you building? What is the product R&D or product development
kind
process
of
right now?
roadmap. Sure. So we're always innovating, making it better, building more. So we started with version 1. We're on version 4 right now. Next year, version 5 will come out. So just like your iPhone, there's always a new software app. So we're always making it better and improving it. And then we started years ago with just electric for one type of stove. Then we came out with electric for all type of stoves. And then we had our gas stoves, and then we had microwaves. And now we've added radio modules to everything. And now we're sending text notifications. We also now do water sensors. Like water is also a big problem, like underneath the sink or dishwashers or water heaters leaking. And now we send a real-time notification saying, hey, there's a water leak in your apartment to the maintenance. And so we're doing fire, we're doing water. We monitor smoke alarms. So if someone takes down their smoke alarm, we send a notification to the property saying, hey, this resident broke fire code. They took down their smoke alarm, go put it back up. So we're always having new products come out. So people could just keep watching. We're innovating, and every year we come out with new stuff.
Do you, and I believe you said that you kind of missed the adventure that you, or the excitement of the life of being a firefighter. Were there, what was it like being a firefighter, and do you have any special memories of, people that you saved, or a close encounter with death or something like that that you can share?
Being a firefighter is awesome. It's a lot of fun. I always tell people when they ask me to share a story, either I'm going to start crying or you're going to throw up. So there's a lot there, but it's a fun job. It's the boys' club. It's never a dull moment. Let's just say that.
Okay. So in every entrepreneur's journey, there's always mistakes made, lessons learned, failures. Over the last 10, 11 years that you've been an entrepreneur, what have been one or two big lessons that you've learned, or failures that you've overcome, or mistakes that you made, and lessons that you learned as an entrepreneur that you can share with the next generation of entrepreneurs?
So I think lessons learned, just don't be afraid to fail. Like don't try to make it perfect. It's not going to be perfect. You won't know if it's perfect until you have 10,000 units out there. And then I remember when we first started, signing contracts with bigger companies that were too expensive. Like when you first start, you have to do more just boots on the ground and find your cheapest people out there. I wouldn't go when I was first starting with these big companies that they're too slow and they're too expensive.
And was it more of the legal back and forth, or like is it a complicated process to sign in just the business agreement, or
with the big companies? There's that too, but a lot of times it's an open cash check, it's an open checkbook, right? They don't want to say, hey, we're going to do that for this amount of money, and it's an open book, and they say, hey, we think it's going to be around this amount. I can promise you, you're going to be double, triple, and whatever they quote you, and so you run out of cash really quick. I learned when we didn't have a lot of money is it was better for us to find a single person or a smaller company that can say, hey, we will do it for this amount of money, and they lock the price in. Bigger companies just want an open checkbook, and they will overshoot their budget every time.
Definitely. So now we're going to move on to our rapid fire segment. In this segment, I'm going to ask you a few quick questions, and you have to answer them maybe in one or two words or a sentence or so. So the first one is one book recommendation for entrepreneurs. and why?
Shoe Dog. I like it because I think Phil waited a long time before going public. He just kept going through and from hurdle after hurdle.
So did you start reading these books after you became the entrepreneur, or did you kind of have the entrepreneurial big bug even when you were a firefighter?
No, I read it afterwards.
Okay. An innovative product or idea in the current e-commerce, retail, or tech landscape that you feel excited about?
FireAvert.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't follow other companies, to be honest with
Okay.
you. I don't know.
A business or productivity tool or software that you would recommend, or a productivity tip?
Fishbowl. We just went with Fishbowl. I don't know if they're gonna be good. Check back in a month and I'll tell you.
What is Fishbowl? Is that like an accounting or
It's inventory control.
inventory control? Okay, cool. A startup or business, an e-commerce, retail, or tech that you think is currently doing great things, besides your company, of course.
I don't know that. I don't follow these
Okay.
other companies.
A peer entrepreneur or business person whom you look up to, or someone who inspires you?
Man, I'd say all the employees here, right? They're awesome guys. I look up to them a lot. They're all entrepreneurs with us here.
Did anyone from your firefighting days kind of follow you into this business, or want to help you out with sales or something like that, or no?
A little bit. We've had our first couple investors, whether firefighters that believed in it, so they had some money. So yeah.
Cool. Final question: best business advice you ever received, or you would give to other entrepreneurs?
Believe in yourself. Don't listen to other. I think too many times entrepreneurs listen to a podcast or listen to other entrepreneurs and say, "Hey, that worked for them. It's going to work for me." I think it worked for them, and doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So figure it out yourself and listen to yourself more than anyone else.
Do you? I mean, throughout your journey, of course, you've partnered with a lot of other businesses and so forth. Do you have any business advisors that you keep in touch with to help you advise on the business at all?
Yeah, so we do have like a board technically, and when we send out financials to them, they'll chime in and give some advice. They've built and sold businesses in the past, so just asking them for feedback on different things and is helpful. But once again, no one knows your business better than you, so that it's just advice, and sometimes we don't listen because we know our business better than they do.
Definitely. Well, Peter, those were all the questions that I had. Really enjoyed learning more about your personal story as well as entrepreneurial story, and also some of the things that you've done to really start and grow your business. Really interesting business, saving life. So nothing can be better than that. So yeah, thank you so much again for joining me today at TrepTalks, and really wish you and your business all the success in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time and let us be a guest on your show. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Peter.